I thought, yeah, I might have a better set than the Faisal set because he's traveling, this and that. And then I turned up and you've actually got like a proper set behind you. What's going on?
Yeah, well, so no, this is just. I wish I have like a. I wish I had a traveling Freshly Grounded set like The Rock has a traveling gym, but no, I'm just in the old Freshly Grounded studio.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah,
said you're going to a relative's house, but yeah, fair
I,
enough. That
I
makes
was
sense.
at the time. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, but I ended up in the old Freshly Grounded studio, so I was like, why not use. This is all
Yeah.
that's left of it. Is like a black backdrop and a Freshly Grounded like, and you know why that's still there, by the way? Because we can't pull it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
it works for now. And I'm also using Oma's USB mic, which is probably not as good as the Freshly Grounded mics. But the truth is, bro, is it's so cold and dark. It's so cold and dark, but that doesn't make me sound manly. So it's so cold that, bro, my equipment is in the boot of my car, which is downstairs. So
Long.
Oma's mic was here. I was like, bro, I've like done an episode of this mic before, and it was just fine. It was fine. So I'm hoping that the quality of the how is the quality of the audio sounding to you?
It sounds all right. It sounds all right. I mean, as you said that, it sort of dropped a little bit, but I think it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's London, man? Been about a week, is
Cold.
it?
Yeah, I've been here since Saturday, so it's been like 5-6 days. It's lovely to see family and friends. It's very cold today. My car was telling me it's -4 degrees, and it took like 15-20 minutes for the car to heat up, which obviously I'm not used to anymore. And then post heating up, you're driving, and then it's like, you're in a big coat and a scarf and a hat, so you're. But then now the heating started working, so now like you're too hot in the car, and then like you turn the heating off, and you're too cold, and it's like then your window starts steaming up. So there's like obviously first world problems, but yeah, very cold. Very grateful to see family and friends, and looking forward to heading back to the big city, man. Dubs. I do miss it. I'm not gonna lie. The wide roads, the tall ceilings, but I've been playing that down a little because I think it's really bad if in front of family you're like, oh, like the ceilings are so small here. Like, so I'm like, I'm enjoying it. You can't forget where you came from. Always gonna have a place of London. London's always gonna have a place in my heart. It's the concrete jungle. Alhamdulillah. We're travellers, aren't we, on this dunya? So.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, I was hoping like you weren't asking people like why there's like a severe lack of supercars in the vicinity and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get down the wraps a little bit. But yeah, alhamdulillah, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Lamborghini in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah, I mean, so I want to like the whole ENAT thing or the whole like what we're doing today.
Okay, you want to get into that?
Just jump in, man.
Okay, so, so we've been rethinking we've been thinking about where we want to take Freshly Grounded for a while, and I think we're content with the fact that Freshly Grounded was once like an entertainment thing that was like kind of lads having a chat, and it was relatable, and at that time I think that kind of content was missing, and it was a niche that was being filled. It was giving people an identity that I think felt identity-less, and that I think to an extent still exists. But the difference now is that there are lots of people, alhamdulillah, being able to provide that. So if you are like a Muslim living in the West who feels like you don't necessarily belong to a specific identity, and then you find your people at Freshly Grounded, then like you kind of champion that. But now there's so many beautiful, amazing podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff that help people kind of feel that identity, that they can go into what kind of a niche within a niche, right? Like they can say, okay, well, I want to be around Muslims virtually, like with the content that I consume, but also Freshly Grounded is not my kind of thing, and so those losers got somewhere to go now. No, joking. So so the point being is that we were I think at one point we were filling a niche that like was needed. And I think what you have to do in any kind of world or platform or product or business or anything like that is you have to know when to adapt. And so then we naturally adapted into the interview thing, which I think did really well as well, because it was a natural kind of transition. And then we came to this thing where it's like, okay, we hit episode 250, episode 300 and stuff like that. And, I moved out to Dubai, and the whole just having a random chat about anything didn't feel right anymore. It felt like, I feel like I've become older, and the things on my mind are no longer maybe like just comment on random things. I'm a dad now, and obviously I've been for a while, but I suppose like they're getting older and stuff, and I'm like much more involved in the world of like business and tech because of obviously like my work at Tertil and some other projects that I'm running, and like some agency stuff that I've done in the past and stuff like that, and agency stuff that you're involved in, and we're kind of working on projects together. And so then the interviews have become harder. I thought interviews would become easier in Dubai because well, you are in Dubai where everybody is, and also you got the whole virtual thing. And the reason interviews I think became harder is because I wanted to do interviews less. I never felt like an interviewer anyway. And so then the content that I was consuming as well naturally led to this thing where it was like, well, Faisal, what would you like to make content about? And it was like, okay, well, I would like to make content about kind of more so the kind of building in public thing, the tech kind of world, startup culture, business and growth in general in that regard. Growth like spiritually in business, in career and stuff like that, parenting. And then so you and I started kind of doing those episodes and we really enjoyed them, but I think they were like picked up on slowly. And then like we had this idea of like doing these big community episodes, which have been really enjoyable. But in my opinion, something's not kind of felt 100% right necessarily, perhaps because there's a lot of people and there's not enough, like I can't control as much. I think one of the advantages of Fresh Uganda has been, one of the great things about Fresh Uganda has perhaps been like the finesse of like the quality of the filming, of the recording, of the footage. And I think like the more people you have, the more that reduces and stuff like that. And then, so I was doing the thinking, I decided, look, I just want to do some thinking because I do want Fresh Uganda to have longevity, but all in all, Freshly Grounded is not going to go unless what we're doing is something that I 100% fully back and want to push. And so then the conclusion I came to was we'll call it the ENAT episode. So these ENAT episodes. So we have this document, we call it the ENAT document, and that doc is where you and I basically will have things going on in our lives throughout the week, or we will have things that we see throughout the week and stuff like that. And we put it all in this document, and then we have a structured conversation about things that align with Freshly Grounded. So stuff about growth as a Muslim in the spiritual, physical, business world. And we talk about those things. And I found those the episodes that I've enjoyed the most. And so how do you align the episodes that you enjoy the most, the episodes that you think are going to do the best, along with, well, these episodes don't get that many views? And that was the kind of conundrum that we had. And so we've been trying to adapt the episodes and change the episodes so that we can figure out what people like the most. And then I think the conclusion that I came up to most recently is, well, what's always worked is essentially trying to predict the fashion, or like trying to say, I believe in this content, and if I believe in it, it's going to do well because like obviously I'm putting my passion behind it, and people will pick up on it and the audience will shift. There's always going to be this situation where we've got perhaps the old Fresh Uganda audience who liked a certain kind of content, and now as the content shifts and becomes more kind of business related or growth related, there's going to be perhaps a drop in views. I say this, although last month we had our highest month ever. I think we did 2 million like downloads and streams, and so even though we are saying, I think like individual episodes, I guess, like are getting like less views or downloads when they're about this. But then I decided we have to create the content that we think is going to work, and then we have to be willing to die on our, what is it called? Die on our sword or something like you have to be willing to, lie in the bed that you made. And I've always been willing to do that, and I've always been prepared to do that. And this time around, for some reason, I've been second guessing myself. And so I decided, no, I'm not going to second guess myself. My favorite episodes, the episodes I believe that will do will have longevity in them, are episodes where we're speaking about things that people can actually get value out of, which is growth in kind of physical, spiritual, and kind of business or career ways. So like us talking about ideas of like, you know, future tech ideas and things like that. I think you and I are aligned on that. And so I kind of give you a message. I said, look, let's go back to the ENAT episodes because I think that they'll work best. And I think maybe there'll be like sloth in the initial viewership, but we believe in it, and I think they will do well. And we have to be willing to die on our sword.
Yeah, man, I think you smashed it with that explanation, to be honest. I'll speak from just like a freshly grounded fan perspective, because that's really what I am, right? Like I've been a fan since 2017 when it first started, or thereabouts. Obviously, when it first started, it was you and Sam, you know, and we were all invested in the conversation you and Sam had, and that was relatively off the wall, but it was like 50% you, 50% Sam, right? And then
and there's still going to be the Sam episodes as and when he can make it, obviously.
Exactly, which is a must. This is freshly grounded. That's an absolute must. and they're my favorite episodes. So obviously, as Sam Alhamdulillah Barak, he had success in his other projects. He had to take a step back, so it becomes sort of you interviewing, and I liked them, but you know, it went from 50% Faisal and 50% Sam to like, you know, 10-20% Faisal and 80% the person being interviewed, right? And that brought in that helped Freshly Grounded grow, no doubt about it.
Majorly,
but, yeah, no doubt about it, man. But when it comes to sort of like this last year, I guess, or this last like 6 months, I guess Freshly Grounded has kind of been building out in the open again. We launched a couple of like internal projects. We changed formats like 2 or 3 times. This is like the 3rd time maybe we've changed formats. So we're kind of just building in public here, trying to figure out what's going to work.
Yeah.
And you hit it nail on the head. Like, this is something that if we're going to like return to Freshly Grounded's roots as much as possible, i.e., bringing you back to sort of, you know, the forefront of the conversation as much as possible. And I know you would never say this, but again, I'm talking from as a fan perspective. This is what made Freshly Grounded for me. Then it may as well be. It should be stuff that you're passionate about already. You want to talk about.
I don't think it's about bringing meaningful conversation. I think it's about. I think like what Kareem always says is, how do we give value to whoever's listening or buying our product or whatever? Like, how does the user get value? How does the listener get value? And I think we have to think, well, how can the user or the listener get value? And I think in this realm, it's like, well, where do we get value? We get value from listening, consuming this kind of content. And so we have all of these thoughts. Like, you and I on a private level have all of these discussions that I leave feeling so inspired by them. We have business idea discussions, and you know, what have you tried this at Tertila? Have you tried this at Wordfire? Have you tried this at Freshly Grounded? And or have you seen this new trend in business? And I always leave feeling so inspired by those conversations. And I think, wow, imagine if somebody was a fly on the wall in those discussions. And you know, you and I both know, boy, there's men and women who listen to Freshly Grounded all around the world who have those just kind of private discussions, have those kind of thoughts that would relate to those chats as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. I guess from like a 30,000 foot level looking down, we're just trying to build in public. We're experimenting. We're doing new things, and we're trying to figure out what's best for like the Freshly Grounded brand and its growth. And in order to keep doing what, you know, Freshly Grounded also has been known to do, and we want to keep doing, i.e., having shuyukh and students of knowledge and that kind of thing, and pushing that as well, and supporting charities and stuff. You know, all of this is linked. But Freshly Grounded itself has to grow as like a brand. It's got to have some sort of identity to it, and that's what we're trying to like figure out, I guess.
Yep. So that's our spiel. We're not going to talk too much about it more. It's just that in future episodes, you'll see a trend of episodes being more kind of productive. Sorry, I'm still like gig over this orders. You see a trend of friendship. You see a trend. I mean, you see a trend of videos that are kind of more about trying to give value in terms of having those discussions, having like building in public kind of discussions. They're going to be ENAT centered. We're going to look at case studies, and we're going to have conversations. It's not going to be for everyone. And if it's not for you, and you've benefited from Freshly Grounded in the past, and you feel like this is your time to get off the train, like we absolutely love and adore and are so grateful for the time that you spent with us. Equally, we'd love for you to carry on joining us. We want Freshly Grounded to be around forever, and he who stays the same, you know, I don't know the end of the sentence, but you know, I don't want to ever idolize or like encourage anyone to listen to or take benefit from non-Muslim immoral sins, essentially, right? But there's a quote I heard once from Jay-Z, right? And I'm just saying it because it's the only thing I can relate to. I just shouldn't have said who it was, but like, you know, so take away the who it was and all that. Just take the message. And I think it was potentially a lyric from one of his songs. Again, not telling, definitely not advising music. This is getting really bad. But it said something like, people say that I've changed, and like I work so hard to stay the same, right? You might have heard that quote or something, like rendition of it. And so the idea is that, like, people might be like, oh, Freshly Grounded changed, but the idea is we have to be able to adapt. We have to be like lizards. We have to be able to change our colours to grow.
It's like fit as many metaphors as like one segment as possible. Exactly. No, you're right. I agree, man. So on that note, have you heard that question? If someone offered you $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z, which one would you pick? You heard that question?
Yeah, I've heard that question. I've seen some really funny answers to that. Have you?
I have, but like, do you agree that that's a ridiculous? Like the fact that So people actually genuinely have picked the dinner with JD. You
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if people
it's
genuinely
crazy.
picked that.
I mean, from a business level, I'm sure he has like some great business like acumen. But yeah, like I've seen people say some funny stuff like. I've seen some really funny replies. I can't remember what they were, but like there's been some hilarious replies to that. Like,
Yeah, they
of course
have.
I'll
They
take
have. They have.
500,000. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen.
yeah,
I think I've seen the couple that I was thinking of. But if anything, the more funny thing is people. I mean, he may have a couple like business ideas for you, but 400 grand, like, yeah, I'll skip dinner, man. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna try
I
and
think I'll skip
see.
that one.
I'm gonna try and see if I can find the replies of this because now that you said that,
Now that we're on the topic of Jay Z, why
yeah,
not?
exactly. Anyway, okay. Let's start with. Um, let's start with the. Let's go into the in doc. Okay, so we're getting started now, guys. So that
Let's.
was our intro, that was the explanation, and now we're getting into the ENAT doc. 15 minutes in, that's good. 15 minutes, we covered everything.
Solid.
Um, let's go. So, do you want to get started with the ENAT doc, or shall I?
Yeah, I'll get started. I'm shocked by your second point. Yeah, this.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to go into that first?
Yeah, go on, just because I'm like I can't understand what you go for. Go on, go for it.
No, no. Okay, you go first. I'll go second. That'll be my first point. You go with your point.
Okay. So for me, like this week, the big trend, and probably people have probably seen this even if you're not really that like into tech and stuff, but Chat GPT, which is basically if you just type in Chat GPT into Google, you'll find it. It's a free open source AI that is kind of amazing in a scary way, in a sense that you can ask it a lot of different questions and it instantly comes back with extremely detailed answers. It's writing essays for people, but like good essays on deep topics, stuff like that. It's writing code. Probably most interesting is it's writing code like super
I
super
saw that.
good.
Yeah,
You've seen that?
it's like
It's
correcting
like
code. Yeah.
not just correcting. It's like it's building apps. Like it's literally people are saying, build me an app in Next.js that takes that. It takes my picture it removes the background and sends it to me as a PNG by email, right? And it's like, yeah,
Wow.
done. It's built the app, and it's like, what the like this free tool just built an app that's like actually not easy to build, right? And you'd pay somebody a lot
Subhanallah.
of money to build that. So it's like almost scary in a sense that like it can do a lot of things, and this whole topic of people's jobs getting automated, it's always been a topic for a few years. But when you use this thing, you're like, wow, I can really see this actually replacing the need for like a lawyer, for example, not a lawyer
Yeah.
maybe, but like a consultant maybe, where it's like they're consulting you about the law, because literally you can type in what's the law in New York on this real estate tax, and it'll just tell you. It's like, oh, I don't need to call my lawyer anymore. So, and again, the whole code thing. So it's really, have you used it?
I have not used it. I was about to use it, but I got blocked at the sign up page, and I was on my phone, so I was like, I'll sign up with my laptop for OpenAI.
Yeah.
But I've seen loads of people use it. What was interesting to me is also that like MKBHD used it, and he said something like, "Write me a YouTube script for an MKBHD video
Oh wow.
where I say that Android is better than iOS." And then he did the same for the reverse. And for both of the videos, the scripts that it instantly created, it's not only that it created the scripts with great valid points as to why, for example, Android is better than iOS or iOS is better than Android, but it also created it in his tone of speaking. So as you read the script, you're like, yeah, this
Oh
is something
wow.
that would sound like what he would make. So I'm intrigued to say something like, have you got access to it?
I'm on it right now.
So
Yeah.
I'll be intrigued to see what it would, if you would say like, write the script for a Freshly Grounded episode about like, I suppose, London or something. I don't know.
Okay, let's see what it says.
Can you share
I'm,
your
I'm
screen or
not.
not? You can't on here, can you?
I don't think I can. I'm not hopeful for this yet. It's basically, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. So one
Fine.
thing I will say before I hype it up too
Freshly
much,
Grounded's not big enough.
well, don't know about that, but not big enough in this AI's mind maybe. But like when I first started using it, I was like, okay, let me try and get it to do a lot of the work that we do in my agency, the kind of content we write, and see if it can rival us, right? And it couldn't. Like some of the topics we write about regularly, just like with this Freshly Ground thing, it didn't know about it. And it said
Fine.
its response was,
I'm
I
signing
am a
up to it as we
large
speak, by the way. That's why I got my phone in my hand.
yeah, do it, do it. I'm a large language model trained by OpenAI and do not have the ability to browse the internet to create original content,
Oh, no
which
way.
confused yeah, which confused me. Because like, how is it getting all this? Where's this all this knowledge from if you can't browse the
Yeah.
internet? Like, because you can ask this to code you something, code it for you. So I'm confused. Like, is there maybe people watching this are like, you're dumb then, but like, where is all this data that is like, is it like an offline database where it's like, it seems like the database is massive. So I don't understand this, to be honest, but yeah, it's like scarily good at like answering questions and giving you information on things. Yeah, man.
That's very scary if you're saying that it doesn't scan the internet.
Yeah.
So
So for example,
how
you could say,
okay, so I've got it open now. So
yeah,
let's say, for example, I type in um
you could say
like
write an essay on something, and it'll write your little essay. So everyone's saying like this is the end of like university students needing to write
that's what's scary.
essays or
They're gonna have to write like so I wrote write a recipe for French toast
okay,
because obviously like obvious reasons,
yeah,
no
yep,
explanation not needed.
yeah.
It's just like loading. So does it take time?
If it takes time, it's probably not going to work. But for example,
Oh no, it's working.
I've
Look at
just
that. Two large eggs, half cup of milk. Instructions. Oh my gosh. Heated large frying
yeah.
pan. If I could show my screen, which I can, but I've got also tabs open like women's fashion jewelry, which I would have to. I would have to start explaining the reason for that.
Yeah.
Oh, let me.
So,
But what I will do is send this. I'm gonna write a screenshot. I'm gonna give a screenshot. So it said, yep, two large eggs, half cup of milk, blah blah blah. Crack the eggs into a shallow dish. Whisk together with milk, vanilla extract, and cinnamon. Heat large time. Wow. It even ends with serve the French toast hot, topped with maple syrup, fresh fruit, or powdered sugar if desired.
so people were even saying like this is better than Google search, for example. So people were saying this is the end of Google search because
I was gonna say that.
99% of things you search into Google, this is giving better answers, like more detailed answers. So I just typed in write an essay on the Battle of Hastings. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
giving me like a good 300-400 word. Like if I need to write this article by tomorrow morning, I'm like halfway there now just by typing that in. And it's I've already checked this, like with the tools we use, it's not plagiarized, it's not copied from any like book or any web page online. It's real content as if it was written by a person. Like it's quote unquote unique, right? So phenomenal, man. And it's well written as well. Like that's not exactly like new technology, but this is well written. The research is all there. And yeah, scary, man. Like Battle of Hastings done. Even though I can't
Wow,
search the internet, so I'm saying
bro.
that has got that.
I've written. Do you know what? I'm going to close my tab so I can share my screen. I've written, write me a script for Freshly Grounded episode. It's writing it as we speak, and it's just going on and on. It's not an
No
actual,
way.
it's not our Freshly Grounded, I'll be honest.
Fine.
But you can see that, I think, now, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like just written like, welcome to Freshly Grounded, a podcast where we explore the fascinating world of coffee. In each episode, we take a dive into the history, science, and culture of this beloved beverage.
But how interesting that he picked up Freshly Grounded as a coffee thing.
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it? What about if we did something popular like write a Joe Rogan podcast script? See what it says from that.
Write a script for a Joe
I guess it's kind
Rogan
of
podcast episode. Yeah, I think that would be a bit easier, obviously.
yeah, it'd probably be a bit easy.
But I wonder if it's going to be in his tone, like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, would it start off like the way he
welcome to
starts
Joe
as
Rogan
well?
Experience. There you go. Where comedian,
Yeah.
UFC commentator Joe Rogan interviews some of the most interesting and accomplished people in the world. Joe, hey guys, what's going on? I'm Joe Rogan. Today we have a truly fascinating guest, Dr. James. He does say stuff like truly fascinating, renowned expert in their field. Wow.
That's mad. This is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's obvious, but like, imagine again, he did it for the other guy you mentioned earlier. So like, you could just imagine like anybody who's probably above like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, you could start like mimicking their scripts. Imagine like people on Twitter, you can start mimicking people on Twitter, writing whole but he's still going, man. This is like literally the whole proper.
How do you
mad.
cancel? How do you stop it?
Yeah,
I really want to
please
see if
stop
we get
writing
this
the
Freshly
script.
Grounded thing. Write a script for the Freshly Grounded podcast. How can I make it more specific so it could try and pick up?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe YouTube podcast, just like so knows where to go. Maybe.
Yeah, but you're saying it doesn't use in.
Yeah, I don't. But how did this is what I'm
Five.
saying? How did he get that Joe Rogan stuff if he doesn't use the internet? I don't understand this.
Welcome to Fresh Ground, a YouTube channel where we explore the fascinating world of coffee. In each episode, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's actually just it's actually just using the exact same script. So there's some kind of like.
Mm.
Okay, anyway, I think like let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, we understand it. It's definitely powerful, and the again the scary thing is every time we're using it, it's like we're teaching it, so it's constantly learning more and more. The more people interact with it, asking questions and stuff. So, but again, I still don't get how does it if it can't browse the internet, how is it knowing about Joe
Yeah,
Rogan
that
and
is
his
confusing.
tone?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But yeah, kind of mad. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah. Oh, also, I thought when you wrote that in the ENET doc, I thought it'd be worth talking about this app that's going crazy right now as well on Instagram. There's an app going crazy right now on Instagram called. Give me a second. I don't know if have you seen it by the way.
No,
No.
which app?
So
What Tartil? I think it's gonna be like a sick plug for Tartil.
no. There's an app going
No, I
around on
haven't.
Instagram everywhere called Lensa. Yeah, Lensa. I can't believe you haven't seen this. This is everywhere, bro. So have you
No, I
have you
haven't.
noticed that everybody on Instagram is posting AI selfies?
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what it is,
everybody,
yeah?
everybody
Fine.
on Instagram right now is going crazy posting AI selfies. So what's crazy
Right.
is that this app called Lensa is just using Stable Diffusion, which is a kind of like I think it's like an open source like script. I'm not doing it justice, but it's an AI thing called Stable Diffusion, which allows you to create images of anyone if you give it 20 images. Give it 20 images of Kaya, it will create other images of Kaya. That's Stable
Oh,
Diffusion.
wow.
So loads of
Okay.
apps. Stable Diffusion is accessible by like developers and stuff. So loads of people have created an app, like 10 different apps, but doing the exact same thing. But Lensa, this specific app, Lensa, Lensa, has gone crazy viral because they've used the marketing technique of obviously of influencer marketing, just for influencer marketing and like ads and stuff like that. They've become the biggest, and they've done. There's by the way, there's other sites that will give you like objectively better photos, and I'm also kind of like looking at some of the things that some of the guys in Tertil have been saying about this. But yeah, there's other ones that have done like really well, but specifically this one's just caught on, gone absolutely viral, and now it's going crazy. Right, this app's going crazy.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say about it, by the way, it's now doing $1 million plus in revenue per day, this app.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's mad.
so yeah, that's interesting, and we could analyze that from a marketing perspective or virality perspective. But really, what I want to analyze it from is a Dean perspective, right? And I want to say about how scary this is. And I don't think I'm the only person who's thought about this, but I'm surprised at the amount of people that posted selfies that haven't like thought maybe I should stay on grey area. So obviously, bro, look, we have to give this like preface that we're not scholars and it might be completely fine. Like we don't know what we're talking about. And that's why anytime you don't know what you're talking about the religion is quite a dangerous thing. But I think there's more benefit than harm here. If we just mention this point, maybe people could do further research and maybe some of the scholars can give us a breakdown. But look, when it comes to the image making thing, right? I think there's loads of different opinions, and so I can't sit here and say like this thing is haram or halal or whatever. But I suppose like, is it worth thinking before posting it? Like, let's wait to see. So there's this Islamic principle that Sheikh Abu Osama, Sheikh Tim Humble have kind of mentioned in the past. Sheikh Abdul Rahman's mentioned it, which is when something like really hits off or goes really well or goes crazy or becomes really popular, there's this principle that is let the dust settle before you speak on it, right? And this is an example where everyone's posting these selfies. It's like, let's wait for a sheikh to let us know about this because it's a big thing, right? Like this hadith about image making. Essentially, like, it might not fall under it. I know there'll be loads of people who are going to like give us slack for it. It's like, look, this is completely fine. But I remember, like, I know like there's different opinions. Some people believe that pictures aren't permissible. Some people will believe that they're fine. So the opinion that I've spoken to some of the shuyukh about that I take is that pictures are permissible because they're not image making. It's a reflection of exactly what Allah has made. So you're not recreating the creation of Allah. It's like looking in a mirror, right? Taking a picture, you're seeing exactly the creation of Allah. You're seeing the creation of Allah. So that's the opinion that I take privately, because that's what I've spoken to Shuyukh about. The question is, with this AI stuff, when you're giving it 20 images and then it's creating images based off of what it's seeing, is it still like reflecting what Allah's created, or is it actually trying to recreate the creation of Allah? Now, I don't know the answer to it, although I have seen when people have posted their selfies, like, oh, there's different, people don't look exactly the same. Some of their noses look a bit different, their ears are different, stuff like that. So there is a level of, it's not exact reflection of the creation of Allah. My question simply is it dangerous to, right now, while we don't know about these things, because look, recreating the creation of Allah or trying to create the creation of Allah is a very, very big deal, right?
Yes.
I just don't know how, there's loads of things that are a big deal that I perhaps like could get caught up on. So I'm not trying to say, oh, here's me on my high horse. But that's what kind of arose when I started seeing this app go viral. I was like, oh, like those people are posting it. I'm just scared for, like, is it fine? It might be fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd ask the same question, man, and I feel the same way you feel, and like I kind of feel the same way about like the whole filter thing in general. Like, you know, on like Snapchat, it's like, oh, it changes, your ears look like this, and now you look like a bit like a dog or something like that. I don't like it, and I would personally just stay away from it. One thing I noticed, on TikTok, right? Like, I've gone to make some TikToks and stuff, and it's changing my face, bro. Have you noticed that? But even though I'm not using any filters.
No. That's not surprising though.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it, it's like it's purposely trying to like make me look better, as in like it's smoothing my skin and stuff. And it's like, how do I remove this filter? But it's no filter. It's like that's the default. So it's like, well, how? But I don't know. I mean, is everybody having? I need to look into that. But it seems whenever I go to do my own, it's like weird.
You could argue where is the line, because I know, like, for example, when we edit photos for our thumbnails or for Instagram, like, you are editing the photos. So could it be that as soon as you start editing, that's when you're falling into it? So yeah. Again, like I said, not sitting on my high horse, a question that just kind of came up when I saw it going viral.
Yeah, I think the point you made about not being hasty is also just another good point in general. Yeah. Like, not necessarily just for this trend, but not being hasty when other people just seem to be jumping on something. Oh, it must be fine if everyone's doing it. There's always benefit in just like taking a step back and waiting to see how things pan out before you jump headfirst into something that could be like a grey area like this for sure, or worse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So back. I mean, we'll talk about. Yeah. Should we go back to the ENAT doc? Because I do want to go back to your second point.
Let's go to it.
That's just a good point.
Okay. So what I wrote here is Cliff Richards released a new Christmas song.
Okay.
Why is that with ENAT doc? Okay.
Yeah.
So I read or saw recently. I came across the fact that Cliff Richards released a new Christmas song, right? And so for those of you who don't know, first of all, that's great. But if you live in London, you've lived in London all your life, like, you come across this kind of information. So I haven't been searching for it, but I found this out. And so for those of you who don't know, Cliff Richards is like I don't know. Can you Google his age, bro? Like, how old is he?
Bro, I've literally just Googled him because I don't know who. I've heard the name, but I wouldn't recognize his face, right? Yeah. So I've Googled him now. I'm on his Wikipedia. Take a guess of his age.
I would say like 80 years old. Like,
yeah, he's 82. 82,
that's insane. Like, so this guy is 82 years old. I'm assuming was a pop sensation in the UK. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know almost anything. Like, even if I was into music, which I'm not, like, I still would not know about Cliff Richard. Like, but a huge pop sensation in the UK. I'm assuming like 40 years ago or something. Like, I want to say that he was in a band.
No, he was the third top-selling artist in the UK singles chart history, behind the Beatles and Elvis. So I
was going to say maybe he was in the Beatles, maybe, but fine.
No, he was not. He was just like by himself, I think.
All right. So the point is this, right? That gives you context as to who he is. The dude's 82 years old, and he's just released a Christmas song or album. I don't know, but maybe he's even released a Christmas album. Let's check actually. So. Cliff Richards Christmas.
Not amazing, but how interesting would it be if like he'd used AI just to like scan all his previous songs and make a new, because you could definitely do that as well, like scan your previous songs and just make a new one.
But I wouldn't be surprised at all. Okay,
I wouldn't
so
be
I've just done a
surprised.
quick Google search, and it looks like he's released a whole Christmas album, right? So this is what's interesting. I just thought to myself, it was an interesting thought. That's what it was. I thought, when we were younger, we used to have this such an innocent mindset where we used to think that everybody does something for a reason. That's like a really powerful reason, right? Like people are so sincere. Like when you're younger, you think everyone's sincere and people do things for beautiful reasons and stuff like that. And then as you get older, you become more cynical because you realize what people are like, and you realize that the world is revolved around money, and a lot of people do things for selfish reasons and stuff like that. And I thought, if you're an 82-year-old man, what reason would there be for you to get up out of your chair and start working and making Christmas album and singing songs and trying to do that? And I thought the only reason for this must be that he just wants more money. And
Yeah.
I thought, how sad is it that at 82 years old, this dude is making songs, trying to get that money in, yeah. And I just, for some reason, I know we're about like that hard, like hustle culture, but I just can't respect it, bro. Because I'm like it just feels like he probably has enough money. If he's like smashed in dunya wise, obviously we don't know. From a dunya perspective, he's obviously like smashed like this, like these charts and stuff. Like he must have money, right? But it just made me think of the hadith about, or that the narration about the dunya being like salt water, like you're just never content. Like, bro, if I was 82 and I was getting out of my chair and I was getting out of bed in the morning to like create whatever, I'll be like, dude, like get a grip of yourself. So I just saw.
I'll be the on the other side of the fence with this one.
Fine.
Yeah?
I guess my overall point was this, just to clarify it. My overall point was, he's 82 years old, he's just released a Christmas album, and it just made me think, wow, like it just reminded me of the hadith that you're never going to be content with what you have, and so you might as well now like accept that and just try and be content because this dude's not obviously content and he's on his way out.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the not my argument against the hadith or anything, but my argument against like, okay, when we're 82 years old, what would we be doing? Yeah, if let's say I'm 82 years old, may Allah give us long life full of good.
I mean,
Whether I've got money or not, I'd like to think I'm still doing like something productive. Do you know what I mean? Like,
bro, this guy's dancing on a stage like. I just
I'm not
obviously it's haram.
what he's
Like,
done.
oh yeah, I'm not saying we accept that what he's doing is haram, but
bro,
my point is like,
if I can, am I going to be an 82-year-old like trying to jump on a podcast with you? I probably will, man. You know,
I know, but
freshly soiled podcast or something.
I think my point is like, I think my point is just like, I don't know what my point is anymore. I remember seeing it and thinking I want to talk about this on podcast, but I guess my point is that like, I'm sad that when I was a kid, I used to think that everybody was sincere.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting older, I'm like, looking at that, I'm analysing it. I know you shouldn't assume, but I'm assuming. You're looking at it and going, that guy is like still trying to get his money. And I don't know why, I'm just thinking, he's not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone going, oh, bless him. Like, he really cares about the holidays. Like, we should buy. The guy's thinking, right, let's get some cake.
Yeah, this is just another blessing of Islam and being a Muslim, right? Because if you're that age and you've got the ability to do something, you can have the correct intention to say, I want to make some more money to make sure that I'm going to give to charity here when I die over there. My children will have more income to be more stable, so on and so forth. Whereas, you know, if you're not, it's just like, oh, let me just make a couple more million and buy another house before I kick the bucket type of thing. Yeah. So it's almost like when you're a Muslim, you can still try to be productive in a good way, inshallah, not making music, but in a good way, and have that count towards your akhirah as well. It's just another blessing of being Muslim. And like, if I'm 82 years old and I'd like to think I'll do something productive, because otherwise I think I'll just get bored. Like, I'd definitely be, thinking up ideas or something. Inshallah, I don't know. I'd like to think I would be. I'm not saying I'll be working like 5-6 hours a day or anything like that, but I'd like to like do something interesting if I had the ability. But yeah, I
don't know. I get you. I agree with you. Like when we're 82,
how do you see your? Let's say inshallah you're 82.
No, you're right. I agree with you. I think when I'm 82, I would like to also be doing things that I want to be doing, and I guess like. Yeah, I guess I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here because, like, if I had the opportunity to, like, still make money or, like, be productive, maybe I would. Although I would hope that at 82 I'll just be doing worship. But, yeah, like, why not? But I think my point is like, maybe it's the fact that it's like obviously we don't believe in music being permissible, so it's like there's also that feeling that you get.
of
It's like
course.
the guy's 82,
Yeah.
like the
That's the
guy's
best you
82
could do.
trying to dance on a stage, like,
Yeah, for sure. From that perspective, that's just like,
you know what I
it's
mean?
like it's ridiculous, of course. Like, and you'd like to think that as people, you're 82 years old, why don't you like try to discover more about what your life is about and the purpose of your life? He says, oh, let me just make another Christmas album.
Yeah,
What can you do, man? What can you do? What can you
may
do?
Allah guide him.
I mean, and us as well.
Brilliant. What you
I was
got?
going to say something else about that. Oh, I forgot it. It's gone now. Let's go back to the ENAT doc.
Yeah.
All right, you got. I like this other one you got as well. This whole PayHip one. We'll talk about PayHip.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of bookmarks. So the reason I wrote this down, I have a bunch of bookmarks on my bookmark tab that I sometimes I come across cool websites that I want to check back on later, or like I might inspire me, but I'm like I don't have a use for it right now. So PayHip is one of them. So a few months ago, I came across PayHip. I bookmarked it. I never really went back to it. But if you go to PayHip, it's like many other websites. There's other websites that exist like this. But essentially, it's a website that allows you to sell digital downloads. So you can sell you could make, for example, a video filter, like a Premiere Pro filter. You can make an ebook. You can make a course. You can make anything that can be made digital. You can make it and you can sell it on
memberships as well. Memberships as well, which is interesting.
Okay, right, memberships as well. So, I've always thought to myself, I want to create something and sell it on PayHip. Like maybe I want to write an ebook, perhaps, or I haven't decided what it is, but I do like the idea. So it's not essential that we talk about PayHip specifically, but the idea is like it's like Gumroad or Etsy and stuff like that.
Yes.
What I wrote is, and the ENAT doc is, PayHip's a cool thing where you can sell digital downloads. So what would you use PayHip for? I thought we could maybe it would become a bit of an ideas lab for 5 minutes. We think about what digital assets you would sell.
Okay, so first I was thinking, all right, what digital asset would I sell? Yeah, but then I got another idea, right? And let me know what you think of the idea, because I do the whole memberships thing. I was thinking, why don't we launch muslimmentors.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the domain's taken. I already checked, but something similar to that. And basically, you
My
sell
Muslim Mentor, MMM.
There you go. You sell membership or recurring subscription to get access to 10, 20 successful Muslims, and you get access to them like 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, but one-to-one. So it's not like a community thing. It's like you actually get one-to-one mentorship. You get to choose who mentors you. And they're available for like 3 hours a week, and you've got to book that. And if you can't book them, you can book somebody else. And then, of course, it's a community sort of grouped in with like a networking thing. But the main thing is you get access to these like 10, 20 millionaires, billionaires who are Muslims. And you get access to them. That's what I thought. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. You could do something like, it works really well. It's almost like Preply, but for Muslim mentors. You go in there, you book it. You can even integrate it with Calendly, make it really simple.
Yeah.
And take a commission, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also like it's a separate idea that's similar is like is it Masterclass, where like there's like top like chefs and stuff giving courses on Masterclass. You sign up, it's like £200 a year and you get access to their course. But it's like Gordon Ramsay's type of stuff. Something similar there. It could be something similar with that, but again, like very successful Muslims giving their course on public speaking or I don't know, selling real estate, whatever it may be. That could be the same platform actually.
Yeah, I think just give me 2 secs, bro, because Adnan's leaving the office. Let me just see what the key situation is. Yeah, bro, so we might have to round up in about like the next 10 minutes or so, if that's right. Yeah, basically, we got new locks in the office, but some of them are new, some of them I have the keys for, but there's one lock I don't have the key for because obviously our office has been robbed. So, it doesn't feel good. It feels weird being here alone by myself in a place where it's been robbed so many times now. I'll
keep you safe. If they jump in, I'd go, wait, leave it alone.
Hey, here's my laptop. So I just have to get to hear from him. So okay, should we go into the next? Oh no, sorry. So PayHip. So what were you saying?
So like there's you pay a subscription, get access to Muslim mentors, like 1-2 hours a week, whatever you want, and also maybe like a masterclass type thing where those leading Muslims in their field have a course on there as well. So that's probably what I'd do with it.
So I was thinking about this. I was thinking like, if I had unlimited time and energy and resources, I would just create loads of digital assets and just chuck them on PayHip. So stuff like anything that I can do that I feel like I can teach. So for example, content marketing. I could, if I had the time, write a massive ebook about how I do content marketing, how I kind of try and predict what trends are in place and how I use that for my clients. And then maybe like, obviously, like I would obviously do like a podcasting one, podcasting equipment, kind of. So all of these things, and then chuck them all as courses and put them on for like, £5, £10 on PayHip as ebooks. And then it's just like something that's on there that you can just kind of gain an income from. So, but I think also like when you look at how people make money kind of in the smart way, they do put their energies into these kind of things, but then also they utilize the assets. So they have these people. Henry Ford has a quote that said something like, "Thinking is the hardest work of all, and that's why so few do it." Something like that. And so the point in that is that if we have these thoughts, we should be able to have these. The people who are smart have these thoughts and ideas, and then they get other people to implement them.
Yeah.
People who work for them. So I think the goal really is to accumulate enough wealth to have a team of people working under you or for you, who every time you have an idea, they can execute the idea. And the reason you're able to, I suppose, like have all these ideas and projects and always have get the good end of the deal from them financially is because you're doing the hardest bit, which is thinking about the idea. And execution can really be done by anybody.
That's my dream. That's one of my dreams, man. Basically, that's like the idea lab that we've spoken about. Like, where it's literally like, there's a room of just like people just brainstorm all day, and then outside is another room where it's like growth hackers, right? They know ads, they know social media, they're ready to like promote whatever it is you come up with. So that means like the idea people just have to find good ideas and then execute good content for it, hand it off to the team, or maybe not even the content. They just hand off the idea to the team. But let's say, for example, in this example, let's say we want to go hard on courses, yeah? We say, cool, we can do courses on public speaking, how to build a podcast, how to build an agency. Let's say those 3, right? We record 3 hours of video content as a course for each one, right? So that's 9 hours of work, call it 10 hours of work. And then it's like, bang, it's done. The work is done. I'll hand this over to my growth team now. They will build the landing page, the ads, edit it up, bang. And it's like within 2 weeks, you'll know if you smashed it or not. If you haven't, cool, back to the drawing board.
We do need to, do you know what? I think that's, you and I are always talking about ideas. I think of business ideas and we think which one should we execute and put our time and energy into. I think what we should actually put our time and energy into is it should actually be just this idea lab thing. And what we should do is we should just look to, as fast as possible, employ, a full-time tech person, like editor, landing page guy, like marketer. And so like basically find the core things we need in a team. Okay, so what takes up the most time? For me, a lot of my time is taken up executing creative. So video editing and graphic design. So I know that I need a video editor and graphic designer. Ideally, that's one person. Because if I can do both of I do all of the graphic and video stuff for Freshly Grounded. So if I can do that, there's other people who exist that can do video and imagery. So I wouldn't really employ buying a person. I wouldn't really employ a video editor and a graphic designer, because I think you can get that in 2 in 1. So we need we need a creative guy. It's called him the creative guy. We need a market guy, someone who can run ads, create landing pages, stuff like that. So now you got a market. That's basically what that's the growth hacker, a graphic design video guy, and then you got like maybe someone doing copy, copy and copy plus all.
But again, that market.
No, but you know what? No, but copy plus. There's a lot of background stuff, bro. Like the emails, the networking, there's a bunch of stuff that has to be done. That's like not pay admin kind of tasks, right? So you got this admin task / copy guy. So you employ these 3 people. You give them all like, I don't know, a decent salary, a good salary, and so let's say for example you're even giving them $3,000 a month, right? And you got 3 of them, so there's $9,000. So you're spending $10,000 a month. And out of that $10,000, you have full-time staff who can execute every single idea that you have from your idea lab. And then eventually you're going to hit IDs. If you're executing IDs that fast, you're going to hit some IDs that are making you 10k a month. You just got to hit one idea that's getting you 10k a month, that's going to start paying off your team. And then any other ideas post that within the year are basically profit. That's what we should do. Let's stop thinking about ideas and start thinking about how we can start growing a team.
I love that. I genuinely love that. I do think we could probably get away with.
Now, where are we going to get $10,000 a month?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys, the button down there. I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, the great thing is, again, with that setup, we could probably launch like 2 products a month. If we're serious, we launch 2, as in like 2 courses a month. More than that, bro.
You could launch like 1 thing a week. Like think about it, like.
Probably. But realistically, though, like it probably would take us like 2 weeks to properly film like a good course. Like, or maybe
bear in mind that we've got our own projects that we're working on full time.
Yeah. Bear in mind we're human beings.
And we have kids. So we are talking. We have Friday evening.
All right. Yeah. So I'm available 6 months. Friday evening. That video.
Actually, this idea all of a sudden sounds really bad. I have no time already.
Yeah, exactly. This does sound sick, and it does sound like the kind of thing I'd love to do. And again, what I'd love about it is just like the feedback, because it's like, okay, let's say we launch something on week
it's a really
1
quick
of
feedback loop.
December. Within 2 weeks, we know, all right, we spent £500 on ads. Either we made that money back already and we're smashing it, it's amazing, or it's a complete flop. So by the 3rd week of December, we're already on the next project. We're already saying, all right, that's scrap, didn't work, next thing. Yeah, I'd love it. And again, as you said, you just need like 1 or 2 things a year to smash it, and the rest of it is like fine. And
agreed.
Realistically, that's probably what would happen anyway. But so be it. That's what you want.
Agreed. Fine. Yeah. We're about to hit our limit. I've got 10% battery left. Do you want to scoop over just very quickly one of the 2 remaining things on your ENAT doc? Give us a quick breakdown.
I mean, I guess the building in FGM. Okay, so I'll just talk about my content for YouTube. So I want to create more content for YouTube, like my personal YouTube channel.
Perfect. Can I please build your set?
Yeah, it's already done, mate. Already built it. This little, what is it? This little plant is all it is.
Where are you right now?
In my living room.
I know exactly where you are. You're at the man's end of the table.
Yeah.
You're sitting. Yeah, fine. I know exactly where you are.
Where else would I be, mate?
You know what I mean? I want to build I really want to build that downstairs room into a set for you. I'm going to convince you eventually. I just don't know if it's that. I don't know if I just have to convince you. That's the thing. I like my wife is so like when it comes to the house, you got to run things through her. Like what?
Of course, man. Of course. Like, and
so I think I'm just more convincing.
Just storage wise, well, it'll be tough. But yeah, we'll see. But right now, like if I can like have something like not so permanent behind me, could be sick. Like some sort of like I don't know. Screen. But yeah, that could be good. Just hang it off the ceiling, should be fine.
All right, go. You're running on 7%. Let's get that.
All right. So basically, one question for you. Yeah.
Okay.
My YouTube channel is going to be mainly like around business stuff, like what Wordify does, as well as like coffee stuff. Like I like to make espresso and stuff like that. Do you think I should do all that content under just one YouTube channel, or should I just segment it by topic, like one for business, one for like coffee?
One YouTube channel, 100%.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think like when you're starting out and stuff and you're trying to grow a brand, like just try and get all the traffic in one place and mix up the content that you're doing, and then eventually when you realize what works, then you can like separate it or like just double down on the content that works, but definitely don't spread yourself too thin like so early on when you haven't even tried the content.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I'm slyly like not hoping, but I'm slightly like, I guess hoping that the coffee one like pops off, because I think it would be really interesting to just like become like a coffee influencer. YouTube guy. Yeah, coffee influencer. Especially in Dubai, because like there seems to be a little bit of gap in the market for like someone who actually like goes and reviews coffee like roasteries and stuff like that.
And there's so many great roasteries and coffee shops as well.
There really is, and there's a few that when you come back, inshallah, we need to show you.
Yeah, fine. Oh, really? Already?
Yeah, I found a couple extra. I found a few extra, but and like roaster. Like we should go to a roaster, because there's a few roasters I want to go to and try their beans. But there's one place called Nightjar that you have to try.
Fine. And
phenomenal, man. We'll try and
I'm down. I need to upgrade my coffee machine too, so I need to figure that out as well. All right, Kaya, it's been amazing. We're on 4% battery, 5% battery. It's been a
Damn.
great chat, and I really enjoyed the discussion. And I always do enjoy these discussions. So I'm glad we did this episode. And
Alhamdulillah.
inshallah, next week, see you next week. And next week,
Inshallah.
I'll be doing our episode from like Morocco, I think.
Oh wow, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
I will have to schedule something here, maybe like Friday night or something.
Okay, man. Inshallah.
Yeah.
See you
All
then.
right, well, take care. See you then.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.